What is the first word that comes to your mind when I say think of something French?
Definitely Paris. Why?
Well, today we're going to be baking something with French origins.
Oh, French bread,
Nope.
French toast,
No.
French fries,
Nope.
French dressing,
Not at all.
French onion soup,
Mm-mm.
French's mustard.
Now you're just being ridiculous. Welcome to Mom's Wooden Spoon.
Get your apron on and your fanny flicker ready as we cook up some nostalgia.
Ooh, yummy. Happy National Herb Day, Carrie.
Thank you, Kristen. I love a good herb.
But which one?
Oregano.
That's what we're using.
Really?
Oh my gosh, Carrie, that's perfect. Today's recipe comes from the September 12th, 1983 Mary's Memo.
All right. Welcome back, Mary.
Yeah, and it's called Urban Cheese Puffs.
Urban cheese puffs.
Not rural cheese puffs, urban cheese puffs.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Yes, or we could say it properly, herb and cheese puffs.
Or we can say it the British way,
Herb and cheese puffs. Ooh, we do like to be British on this show.
I mean, with great regularity.
Yeah,
Yeah. My accent skills are superb.
Oh, everybody knows that, Carrie.
Everybody.
Everybody. Well, the one thing that this recipe said, or that somebody said online, I don't care where they said it.
It's like, it's a Mary's Memo. How did it get online? What are you talking
Okay,
about?
Mary didn't say this. I found this online. It doesn't matter where. They said that with urban cheese puffs, you really need to have some good wine.
Oh, do you?
Yes. And so I thought, well, I don't want to wait to drink the wine till the cheese puffs come out of the oven. Let's go ahead and start with the wine.
I think that would make the preparation make them even taste better.
That's right. And one of our listeners, Jim, said that he thought one of our best episodes was when we were boozing it up with the bourbon.
So this is for you, Jim.
This is for you. We wouldn't otherwise drink on an episode.
No.
So here we go. Let's get some vino.
Okay.
Ooh.
Is it red?
Yep, it's a red Cabernet Sauvignon.
Ooh, that sounds very French.
It is so French. Well, you know what?
No.
Cheese puffs are actually French.
Because of Gruyere.
Yeah, they do put Gruyere in it. And actually, in France, they call these cheese puffs gougère.
Oh.
And they're made with a dough called pas de choux.
Oh, I know about the pas de choux. It sounds like a dance move.
I was just going to say there's a pas de chat, which is a dance move.
And there's something a shay too. I don't know, because dance moves are all French words.
Exactly. Also. That's right. So let's get some.
You're pouring me some wine.
I am.
Just a skosh more.
Here we
Keep
go.
Going. Keep going. Just a skosh.
There you go. Ooh, let's make mine equal.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
And you guys can't see this, but each of our wine glasses is the size of a bottle.
It is. That's how I roll with the red wine.
Mm-hmm. Here is to some delicious urban cheese puffs.
Kalinky. Here's to Jim.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. What a great idea.
We are loving you right now, Jim. But you know what? At the end of this class, we'll love you more.
Even more. I'll tell you what. Jim has saved me multiple times in my life. In kindergarten. Do you know this story?
I do know that, Jim.
Yep. In kindergarten, I went up on the very, very, very big, tall slide. It was one of those like death trap slides, metal, super tall.
I think this is pretty much the fact that you went up there was probably the most dangerous thing you have done in your entire life.
I think you're right, because I am not a risk taker.
No, did like some first grader dare you to go
probably,
up there?
And I probably would have been like, okay,
right.
Yeah, I'll do it. So I went up there and I was wearing a little cardigan sweater and I went to go down the slide and my cardigan got snagged on the sharp metal slide at the top.
Yes.
And I went down the slide and my sweater stayed behind.
Well, I'm glad that you weren't like hanging by your googly arms on the slide, burning your limbs off.
I'm stuck. Oh my gosh. So I left the sweater behind and Jim was so gallant. He was my knight
In
in
shining armor.
That's what I was going to say, knight in kindergarten clothes armor. And he climbed up the slide and attempted to get my sweater off for me and fell.
No.
He did. Jim got a concussion
On your behalf?
on my behalf.
Are you carrying guilt? You
I
should.
really do. I should. I really do. I have a lot of guilt over this. Jim and I have never talked about this.
It's because Jim can't remember.
I went to high school with him. We never talked about this.
Not. What story are you talking about?
But I'll tell you one thing. The principal of the school banned all kindergartners from that slide henceforth.
Way to go, Kristen.
Sorry.
Ruining everybody's fun. What do they say? They always make a rule for the dumb person.
I was the dum-dum. Oh my goodness. Well, again, here's to Jim.
Oh, thank you, Jim. This is a good line, too.
This is good. I'll tell everybody what it is at the very end. It's not that expensive either.
I don't know. My husband is like, if it's over $5, we don't buy it in our house.
You are a $2 Chuck kind of girl.
$2 Chuck is now like $3.50.
Oh man.
Oh yeah,
that's way too rich for my blood.
Inflation is horrible.
So actually today I think we're going to make some shoe pastry.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and so that's why Carrie is standing by the stove instead of Kristen. That means, oh my gosh, you guys, that means I'm going to talk while Carrie does all the work.
I think that maybe we need to find a new recipe for the day. I'm not digging this.
Oh man, urban cheese puffs. I can't wait.
So they talk a lot, if like you watch the Great British Baking Show or anything like that, about shoe pastry. It's like a big thing.
It is.
So they talk about it a lot and how difficult it is to make.
Yeah.
I have in fact made shoe pastry a handful of times.
Yes.
I am afraid to say this out loud.
Oh no.
I don't find it to be all that difficult. You just kind of follow the recipe. It's kind of magic the way it works. And that's pretty much it.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the Mary's Memo, it talks about where Mary got this recipe, and it was from her sister, Anne Trentadue.
Who has a fabulous, cheese spread, right?
She's made something special that was called Anne Trentadue's
super fancy food you can't miss.
Well, thanks to Anne, but Anne found it in a 1983 Pillsbury's Best recipe booklet.
Ooh.
You know, and they used to sell those recipe booklets at the checkout counter in the grocery store.
I remember those.
I have a couple of them that have really good recipes, right?
They do.
So they're really for the everyday home cook to be making these. So I'm thinking that we might be doing okay with this. And what I loved is I found the recipe booklet for sale on eBay, and what it says on the top was perfect. It said a special cookbook filled with Pillsbury home economists.
Oh,
just like Mary.
Just like Mary.
Now, I don't know how they got the home economists in the book.
I mean, tight fit.
That would be really tight.
They clearly were having carrots at the state fair.
That's right. They're probably pretty smelly after 1983, but whatever.
Whatever.
Do you know that there is a trend right now for super, super white women to eat like 2 big carrots, like full on 2-3 carrots a day, and it totally turns your skin orange and makes you look like you have a tan? It's a trend right now.
I should do that. I am really pasty.
Yeah.
Super pasty. And so years ago, my friend and I went to Key West, Florida for vacation.
Ooh la la.
My friend, not pasty.
Right.
And I thought, I need to look good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to get some self-tanner.
Ooh.
And I am going to self-tan my legs so that they look nice in my cute little skirt and all that kind of stuff. So did I put 1 layer of self-tanner on?
Oh.
2 layers of self-tanner?
No.
Oh, no. I did 5 layers of self-tanner. I did not turn orange.
You didn't?
I was the tannest I have ever been.
Oh my gosh.
So down to Key West we go.
Yeah.
We rented a convertible. It was super fun.
Ooh.
Down to Key West we go. We are standing in line to get into a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 incredibly intoxicated men in front of us.
Oh no.
And one of them turns to me and says, "Holy crap, look at how white your legs are. Have you ever seen the sun?"
What?
And I'm like, this is the tannest I've ever been.
Oh no. That's
5 layers.
And you still were Whitey McWhiterson.
And my friend, being of insane assistance, is just buckled over with laughter.
Oh, that's so funny.
She didn't defend me, not even a little bit.
Rude.
There was no, hey, she's self-tanned, buddy.
Yeah.
None of that. She just laughed and laughed.
That's funny.
It was
horrible.
Gosh. So maybe I just need to eat a bunch of carrots.
I think that's the way to go. When my son was a baby, he ate so many things that had that beta carotene in it. The sweet potatoes, the baby food sweet potatoes, carrots, even spinach has that.
Yes.
That he got orange around his nose.
I remember that. But just around his nose, just around his nose.
Yeah, it was weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, that could happen to you too, Carrie. If you eat the carrots, just your nose will be
I got a big old honker. I mean, like, that's just what I need. That'd be great.
Let's move on to urban cheese puffs.
Okay, I'm ready.
So it says that I have to generously grease 10 medium muffin cups. And then you are going to heat milk and butter until boiling and then slowly stir in some flour.
True.
All right. So how about if we get you going with the milk and the butter?
Okay.
And I'll measure up the flour and we'll get going on that.
Okay.
All right. Turn that bad boy on. Yeah. Okay, well, I was really interested in these cheese puffs and was wondering about the history of the cheese puffs and stuff. And guess what?
What?
I came upon an article talking all about cheese puffs, but halfway into reading it, I realized they were talking about like cheesy poofs, like the
the balls in the can with the killer.
That's right. But actually, do you know that those were created by accident?
I did not.
I know, right? And it was created by accident by an animal feed factory.
Okay, so what part was the accident? The puff made of whatever grain you would so desire to make it from, or the incredibly orange fake cheese?
Nope, not the cheese at all. So to make the feed for these animals, they used a grinder. And the grinder would kind of flake the corn, but to clean the machinery, they would push moist corn through the grinder. And as it popped out, these airy blobs of corn came out. And so one day an employee took them home and was like, I'm going to see if these are fit for human consumption. And he took them home and seasoned them up. And he actually made the first, air quotes, corn curls, both spelled with the letter K.
I'm making a face of total disgust.
Yeah.
But now that you spelled it with the K, I'm on board.
Pretty delish, right? So they weren't cheesy at first at all.
Oh, they were just, oh gosh, just plain corn cuffs. Corn cuffs.
Corn cuffs.
Who doesn't love a good corn cuff?
Corn cuffs. All right, we've got the butter. This is going to be noisy. I think I'm going to cut it into little chunks so it melts better. And I think you're going to bring this just to boiling. Yeah.
And then we're going to add in flour. And then it's going to like magically create this thick ball of dough.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And then at that point, you have to add in the eggs one by one.
Yes.
It's a very eggy product, isn't it?
It is. And then the way they cook, and I didn't even have to look this up. I'm feeling incredibly smart.
Ooh.
Of course, somebody's going to Google it and write in and say,
that's right.
Not so smart. You were wrong.
Big dumb Carrie.
Because of all the eggs, when you get them in the oven, they steam. And that's what makes them puffy.
And so the choux pastry is not only used to make savory things like our urban cheese puffs.
Right.
You can fill them with cream and make cream puffs.
You can. And you can cut them in half and put cream and make like a cream sandwich, a cream puff sandwich.
I wish we were doing that.
Mm-hmm. Or you can pipe the cream into the bottom. You can make eclairs.
Oh, choux pastry is used to make eclairs.
If you put it into a log.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a handy thing to have in your skill. Now, am I like Great British Bake Off where I just know how much to do?
Right.
And so just magically, no.
You don't? Well, Carrie, I put you on this because you are gifted at this.
I need a recipe.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we have one.
We don't mess around with
You know what, Carrie? You might as well just take another sip of wine. Okay. It'll make everything better.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
All right. So I have everything set up for Carrie. She's ready to go. Oh, look, it's simmering already. Stop drinking your wine, Carrie.
Oh my gosh.
Hurry up. Oh, wow.
All right. Oh, that's it. That is good and bubbly. So we let it all bubble.
And then we'll get her boiling, and then you start kind of adding in the flour.
Can you add in the spices because they'll need measured?
Yes, I will. It's just really a quarter of a teaspoon of oregano. That's the herb in our herb and cheese puffs. And then some garlic salt, a quarter teaspoon of garlic salt.
All right, we have boiling.
Oh my goodness, that's fast. You want to turn it down? Okay, this is quick. Wow. Okay,
all right.
Here's the herb. Here's the other herb. Oh, that's too much. Oregano is very strong. Okay.
Very sticky. All right.
It is. And the flour. Carrie's going to start adding that in. And while she does that, I'm going to take a sip of my vino. Okay, you ready?
I'm stirring like crazy.
Oh, she is.
Getting the flour a little bit at a time, trying to not let it lump up too much.
Right. Wow.
All right, so we got the nice thick dough consistency.
Yeah.
And then we added in the eggs. And so when you add in the egg, it just becomes this slimy dough.
It was really hard to stir. We had to take turns.
My upper arm is burning. But now it's this beautiful batter type consistency with the egg.
So it has everything in it except for the Parmesan cheese.
Correct. And then Kristen is frantically greasing the pan because we forgot to do that part because
we were so busy beating the batter.
Oh my gosh. It's burny.
It feels like burning. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to put this over here.
All right. Well, I was fascinated as I was looking at stuff with the number of things that are a puff. So we have herb and cheese puffs, right? I played powder puff football in high school, right? I don't know if you knew this. I got a scholarship. It was very, very small. Don't think I'm all smart because I'm not. But anyway, so I got the scholarship. And so we're at the scholarship event and they're reading out the different things that you had been a part of.
Yeah.
And so the people are like, you know, this academic league, they were part of this academic league. They read out mine and they're like, she's not that bright, but she played powder puff football. I was humiliated. I mean, I did play powder puff football, but of all things that I had done, the fact that that was the one that they read out in this room full of academics.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was horrible, horrified.
Oh, my gosh.
My dad had gone, or your dad too, as it turns out, had gone with me. And he was very kind because I was humiliated. And he's like, it made you stand out from the crowd.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm like, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Okay, so I'm totally changing the subject to make you feel better here.
Sure.
Okay, so, you know, normal choux pastry, you put it in a pastry piping bag.
You do.
And you pipe it like onto a cookie sheet. But this we're supposed to put into muffin tins.
Okay.
And it says that it'll only make 10. So I only greased 10 of the 12 muffin holes, and we're supposed to take a spoon and kind of blob it in. So I think Carrie, being the baker in the family,
I'm the blobber.
You're the blobber, Carrie, because I don't know how to make sure it all comes out even.
Oh, right, because that's a gift.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yep, it's perfectly greased. Okay, so before we were getting ready to stir this up and it became a whole rigmarole, I was going to tell you about some 1983 food trends.
We didn't put the cheese in.
I did.
We totally put the cheese in.
Yep, the Parmesan cheese is in.
Parmesan. For some reason in my head, I was thinking it was shredded cheddar.
Oh.
It doesn't look like there's shredded cheddar in here.
Well, speaking of cheese.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, one of the 1983 food trends has cheese Totino's pizza rolls.
Oh, I did love me some Totino's pizza rolls.
Have you eaten them as an adult?
Yes.
Are they so delicious anymore?
No.
No, not really.
They're really hard to heat up. Like they're very inconsistently warm.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes you'll get one and it's like scalding hot lava burns your mouth. And then you'll get one and it still has a little bit of frozen bit in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
And as a kid, I don't think I had any issue with that. As an adult, I'm like, I would like uniform warmness, please.
Please.
That's very important to me in my bed and in my pizza rolls.
Uniform warmness. In your bed.
Thank you. Nobody wants a hot spot.
Heck no.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Well, some sweet things that were super popular in 1983.
That had cheese?
No.
Oh, okay. We're moving on from the cheese.
Moving on from the cheese. Moving on to some sweet deliciousness. How about frozen yogurt?
Oh, now Kristen, she got some tales to tell about the frozen yogurt.
I do. I worked at TCBY.
The country's Best yogurt.
Yes, indeedy. That was not in 1983. That was a little bit later, probably 85, 86.
Okay. They were capitalizing off the big
Frozen yogurt trend. Heck
Yes.
yes. You know, another thing that was wildly popular in 83 that I think I kind of caught on to and really enjoyed in the 90s was pasta salad. Do you remember making like all kinds of different pasta salads? You could make it with spaghetti.
Yes.
You could make it with those curly cues that were all different colors thanks to spinach and carrot and
Yes.
ooh,
Tricolor rotini.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
there's nothing to sniff at there.
You could use Italian salad dressing to make it. You could add some Miracle Whip and make it a creamy one.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
man, pasta salad was all the rage.
I'm not opposed to a good pasta salad. I have a recipe just to bring it into the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it tastes just like pasta salad, but it's quinoa.
Oh, I like quinoa.
Yeah, there's no pasta.
Interesting.
You cook the quinoa, you add in the Italian salad dressing.
Ooh.
You add in pepperoni and tomatoes.
Yummy.
And yeah, it just makes an Italian.
I would really like that.
It's really good.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Okay, I think Carrie needs to post that recipe, please.
It's definitely not a 1983 recipe. Who the heck had heard of quinoa?
Like nobody.
In 1983. Not
oh, wow. You got all of it. You did really great. I'm scraping down the last bits, but
it's a nice thick batter, pâte à choux is.
It is. And you know what? It really filled these muffin tins pretty darn well.
It did. And I think they look, well, I mean, I did it, so I think they look relatively even. Let me pat myself on the back on a job well done.
You know what? That deserves a drink, right? Oh, Carrie's is all gone. Wait a minute. Carrie's wine is all gone. How is that possible? She's the one doing all the cooking and the stirring, and hers is gone, and mine is still full.
Kristen's been gabbing.
That's
but
what
you know
happened.
what? I'll help you.
What?
I got you.
Thanks.
I got you. I'm here to help.
Oh,
don't you worry.
You're such a nice helper. Well, you know, I actually also found an article talking about more things that were super, super popular according to Epicurious magazine.
Oh, wow.
In 1983.
Epicurious magazine was in 1983?
It wasn't, but their sister magazine, Gourmet, was.
Really?
Yes.
I remember seeing that at the library.
At the library?
Yeah. I mean, why would I have Gourmet magazine at my home?
That's right.
Not something my mother was subscribing to.
No.
Better Homes and Gardens?
Yes. House Beautiful? Yes.
Gourmet? Decidedly
no. And so, according to this Gourmet magazine, apparently Americans were obsessed with French food.
Oh, look at that.
I know. And pastry dough.
Oh, so that totally resonates then in this
recipe. Absolutely does.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this wine is so yummy.
It is so. I thought yours was all gone.
Almost.
Oh, one sippy left. Okay, so let me look at the directions.
And then I'm going to drink hers just for a spoiler alert.
Keep your grubby hands off my wine. Okay, we have to bake this for 30 minutes and then prick the puffs with a fork and then continue baking for 10 to 15 minutes or until deep golden brown.
Interesting.
That's so wild because I thought the whole point was to let them puff.
Well, so I'm assuming after the initial time they're puffed, you prick them so they don't continue to puff.
Right.
And so maybe they would just be, I mean, that's a lot of dough.
It is.
So when you make like a puff, oh, shoot. I've been drinking wine. I can't think of words. Okay.
When you make like for a cream puff or just a pot of choux.
Yes.
They're tiny.
A small amount of dough.
Like the size of a walnut.
Yeah, you've been drinking wine too. You're like, finish my sentences.
The size of a walnut.
Carrie started to talk. Let me finish that.
Let me do it.
Yeah, and so they're tiny and they become pretty big.
That's true. And I don't think we want the centers completely hollow because it says to serve them with butter. So I think we want to have some surface area for the butter.
Yeah, but you want them hollow because then you have like half a puff with a cup of butter.
Cup of butter with red wine. Oh, yes.
We're going to be out of red wine.
I'm opening another bottle. All right, Carrie, you want to pop those in?
Oh, man. Oh, I'm just dancing. I'm so excited. Move your tippity tap booty. I'm like a little puppy about to be fed.
Don't get burned.
Okay. Ooh, quick, while she's not looking, I'm switching wine glasses.
Shoot! You're a jerk!
Hey, guess what, Carrie? Yes, Kristen?
I have a terrible virus.
Hope you don't get it. I think I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, 30 minutes on this. Kitchen
Come
time.
on, you can do it.
Stop. Okay, now give me back my wine.
Oh, she noticed.
I know, right? Well, I was laughing so hard when I looked up 1983 because I found a list of things that were just discontinued in 1983 that's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
No.
I didn't think so. Have another sip of wine.
Okay.
So that you can totally believe what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Do you know that Maytag built their last wringer washer in 1983?
No.
I mean, I don't think it was a hand crank wringer. I think it was the electric wringer that you put the clothes through and it squeezed the water out. But 1983.
That's remarkable. Who the heck bought that?
I know, right? And then I read that they continued to make the parts for those wringer washers for a decade past that.
Well, I suppose you'd have to. I mean, part of Maytag is that they last forever, so that you're going to want to ensure that you can fix it.
That's right. I mean, Maytag wringer washers are so old that is how our grandmother lost her finger.
Yes. Okay, so that's a delicious story that's going to make you want to eat dinner. It's true. She was a very little girl and her parents were wringing out like a comforter, so it was very hard, and it was a hand cranker. And she had gone and lovingly picked, I am sure, dandelions for her mother, and was handing her mom this beautiful bouquet of flowers and got her finger caught. Yeah, it's awful. She only had like half of a finger on one hand. I did not realize that all grandmas did not just have, I don't know, I didn't think about it, right? We only had one grandma.
That's right.
She had half a finger on that hand. I just assumed that that's what happened when you became a grandma. Now, did I think it through? Obviously not. Welcome to grandmahood. Chop. I don't know. So when she had a lot of gloves, it was Ohio, it would get cold. She'd push the finger in of that middle finger so that she didn't have an empty finger flopping around on her glove. So as a kid, I took great pleasure in pushing in the fingers of all the other fingers on her gloves.
Oh, and she's like, wait a minute, I need those.
The poor lady, every time she went to put her gloves on,
they were all poked in.
They're all poked in.
Nice job, Carrie.
It was love.
You loved it. That's hilarious. Okay, so the other thing that blew my mind that actually was finally taken out for good in 1983, the last hand-cranked telephone.
What?
Yes, 1983, they were all taken out of service when 440 telephone customers in Bryant Pond, Maine were switched over to direct dial service.
So apparently 1983, people were not feeling cranky.
Oh, you've been drinking because that's not fun.
Oh, come on. That's two cranky things, too.
I know. I just felt really bad for the poor operator that lost her job.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, one ringy-dingy, two ringy-dingy, and she didn't do it anymore.
Okay, so let's face it.
Yeah.
The people who lost those hand crank phones were 80 years old plus.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
no doubt. But good news, 83 still had the party line.
That's true. They could just get a party line.
They just got the party line. Speaking of my grandma.
Yep, she definitely did.
Person in Defiance, Ohio.
With a party line.
With a party line. They had to call her and tell her that there was no one else to pair her with on the party line. She had to go to it. Now, they might have been lying. Maybe there was one other 80-year-old lady who would have happily paired with my grandma, and they're like, no, that ship doesn't sail, people.
But heck, it was cheaper, and she didn't have just one other party. She had multiple parties on her line.
Stack them on. I don't care.
Yeah, you give me money off, I will take it.
I'm in it.
Yeah, it's not like I talk to many people on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So grandma got kicked off the party line, just like these cranky old ladies got kicked off their cranky phones.
We're going to have to name this episode Cranky Grandmas and So Much More.
Carrie gets cranky.
Carrie gets cranky. Oh my gosh, with our grandma. Urban crankiness.
You've been drinking too.
I have. That was bad. That was really bad. Oh my goodness. Well, on that cranky note, we will come back when, I don't know, when we've pricked these bad boys and then put in the oven again.
Yeah, we've got 25 minutes. We're going to let them puff.
Yep.
And then we're going to stab them.
Yeah.
And then we are going to come back and
Drink more wine?
Okay. Oh my gosh, we have 25 minutes. What else are we going to do?
I think we need to go right now.
We're not sure you're going to want to join us, but if you do, we apologize in advance.
In advance.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Okay, these have been cooking for a while. It's time to prick-a-rootio.
Just a little prick.
Let's get them out and see how they look.
Oh my gosh.
They're
beautiful.
Whoa.
I can see why they want to prick.
They're huge.
They are huge.
But you know what's weird? They do not feel hollow at all.
I think it's probably because they would continue to, puff.
Boy, they are super brown on the bottom. Look, they kind of pull out.
Yeah, so
I'm a little concerned.
The instructions say bake for 30 minutes, prick, continue for 10 to 15 minutes or until deep golden brown.
I'm thinking 5 minutes would be enough.
I think you're right.
I'm not sure that we should do them any longer, Carrie.
I'd say do a little bit, but you're right. They are super close to deep.
And they smell deep.
They look incredible. Y'all are going to be so jealous.
Oh, and so impressed by us. Completely impressed.
I mean, let's be honest. We are impressed by us.
I know, right?
I mean, it is amazing what a little red wine can do to your meal.
It's amazing what a little red wine can do to your self-esteem.
Amen. Here's the difference. We clink. I take a big old sip. Kristen just holds her glass in the air.
Toasting to us.
To nothing.
To nothing. Hey, you know what, Carrie? We were back in 2 and 2.
Okay, Chuck Woolery.
I know, right?
What game show was that? It's Love Connection.
It's Love Connection. Came out the same year this recipe did, 1983.
Huh, I remember it. Love Connection. It was a good show.
It was so cheesy.
Well, Chuck Woolery, they, back in the day, they just had some hosts.
Right.
And they just hosted everything.
They did.
There was Wink Martindale.
Oh, that's right.
You can't have the first name of Wink and not be
exactly
a game show host.
Do you know what? I think Chuck Woolery was the original host of Wheel of Fortune.
You don't say.
I do say, and I'm probably wrong. It's probably the vino talking, but yeah.
That's all right. It was somebody that was not Pat Sajak.
It was definitely not Pat Sajak.
Are you Googling it?
I'm Googling it right now. What?
Pat Sajak? That's his name.
What did I call him? Part. Did I call him Part Sajak?
You did. He's part Sajak.
He's part Sajak.
Part not Sajak.
Partly not Sajak. Oh my gosh.
I spent some time looking up all things puffs.
Oh.
So I mentioned powder puff football. Sticking with the 80s theme that you have moved us into.
Yes.
Here's a nice 80s concept, the puffy paint.
Oh, the puffy paint. Our mom was the queen of the puff paint.
She loved the puff paint. And didn't you have a sweatshirt like an Eye of Newt?
I did. We were able to get extra credit for making a shirt that had a Shakespearean quote on it. I think a Macbeth quote in high school. And I made one that was wool of bat, and I made the wings go down the arms of this white sweatshirt. And then I found gray fake fur, and I made a big belly of the bat right on my belly.
You wore that a lot.
I wore it on Halloween, not rando, I'm going to the mall, let me look cool in my bat sweatshirt.
I remember that you wore it just, every day wearing, because when you make a sweatshirt that is that cool, you need to make sure people recognize it. But alas, no.
Alas, no. But I wore it every Halloween up through the 2000s.
Wow.
Oh, for sure.
And then it was a gray sweatshirt.
It was by then. It was so faded, and it was no longer a puffy.
I looked up puffy paint cracking. So our mom loved to make us puffy paint stuff. But after you laundered that bad boy a handful of times, the paint all cracked and it looked horrible. So I wondered if puff paint did that all the time, if that was something special. Maybe it's because all of the shirts came from Dollar General.
That could be not your high quality shirt.
Not the high quality shirt. But I looked, if you didn't launder the shirt first,
Oh,
There's shrinkage.
that's right.
And
shrinkage would cause the crackage.
That was it. So
wow.
all of those things cracked because we didn't wash them first. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's interesting, Carrie.
Those are beautiful.
Are gorgeous.
I cannot wait to put some butter on that bad boy.
I know. She said to eat it with the butter.
Put it in my mouth.
Ooh, let's get it
some wine.
Ooh, yeah.
But wait,
what?
There's a lot more important puff things.
Really? Well, why don't you tell us about the puff stuff?
Oh, I will.
I drink some more wine.
Okay, that sounds good.
Good.
So there's some things that we all are familiar with. Puffs tissue.
Yeah.
Came out in 1987, not 83, but very close.
Carrie, that's a lame fact.
And it is not Puffs tissue.
What?
It's Puffs tissue with lotion.
Puffs tissue with lotion came out in 1987?
1987.
Wow, I do not remember it being that old.
I know. I did not like the Puffs tissue with lotion.
I know why.
Oh, tell me.
You tried to clean your glasses with them. They would smear all over.
I don't remember that. I probably did. That sounds like me.
Yeah.
No, they gave me zits.
Oh,
that lotion on my preteen face.
Oh, not good.
It was too much. And so now your nose is red.
Yeah.
It is sore. It is running.
Oh,
and it is chock full of the acne.
Oh,
Thank you, Puffs. But I found this fascinating tidbit.
Ooh, I like
the
tidbits.
Disposable tissue was first seen in Japan in the 17th century. What? Some dude went, saw it, came back, wrote about it, and he was like, yeah, they use tissues made, well, they call them tissues, whatever, nose cloths, made for one use and then throw them on the ground.
What?
Yeah. Clearly, it was pre-littering his bad days.
I guess. Watch out for the snot rag, sweetie.
Can you imagine getting stuck to your shoe? Oh. So anyway, then, obviously, centuries later, Kleenex made the first tissues. They were not made for your nose. They were made to remove cold cream for your face.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I thought you were going to say they were made for your booty.
No, but very quickly people discerned that you could get all kinds of better use out of this, like blowing your nose or on occasion, using it for your booty.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. So one other puff.
Well, I do remember puff sleeves. Puff sleeves were big in the 80s.
What was a puff sleeve?
So there were sweaters. Do you remember this? The white sweaters that had rainbow hearts going across the chest?
Yes.
They were super popular because they had a little puff on the top of the sleeve.
You are correct.
Yes.
Like they gathered up at the sleeve.
They did. And in 83, I think those puffy sleeves on prom dresses.
Oh my gosh. Think of the 80s wedding dresses.
Oh, Princess Diana's. Puff sleeve extraordinaire.
Think of the 80s veils. They go around your head like a headband because that screams gorge.
Yeah.
And then they would have the beautiful puffs.
That's
and
right.
The floofs.
Everything was puffy in the 80s.
And the skirts.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Oh, it was like you were a cloud. A bridal cloud of joy.
I thought you were going to say it's like you were a clown. A big bridal clown, which you kind of were.
That's kind of mean. I went with cloud. It's
that was
loving.
Nice. That was
appropriate.
Nice. I'm going to stop.
Okay, so now that Kristen's been mean, we're going to feed her. Maybe she's just hangry.
I think I'm hangry. I'm full of wine.
Look at, oh my gosh, I got to take a picture.
It is beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
There's no big hole, but it is airy. Yeah, I guess there are big holes, not just one center hole, I guess.
Right. You wouldn't put cream in that sucker.
No. There's a lot of
yellow, eggy deliciousness.
Ooh, and there's a lot of nooks and crannies for the butter.
MG. Will you slather some butter on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all. This was not hard. Do not be afraid. Of choux pastry.
Not one bit.
This was great. So, okay, and just a quick rundown of what happens with choux pastry as Kristen finishes buttering these and gets one in her mouth. So you boil the milk and the butter together. It gets all frothy. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. You start adding in the flour super slowly. I like to use a whisk at first and then move to a spoon. Do it however feels better for you. And eventually, that is going to create a ball of dough that all just pulls away from everything into this bowl. It's kind of hard and it's surprising. That's exactly what you want. Then you add in eggs that are ridiculously hard to stir, but it turns it into this soft, lovely batter. And you've done it. That's it. That's the choux dough. You totally can do this. Is it worth it?
Oh my gosh, is it worth it? It is so tender. It's kind of like eating a little souffle or a popover.
Yeah, it's a popover.
It is. It's a popover. Oh, Carrie, take a bite.
Okay.
I am tasting the cheese. The Parmesan cheese is salty, good. You know what? The oregano is not overpowering at all. I expected it to be, and it's just not. It's there in the background a little. What do you think?
This is amazing.
You would wow your friends and family with these, you guys.
The only sadness that I have is that we only made 10.
I know.
I think that this is worthy of doubling the batter.
Oh my God.
This is so good. Okay. So Kristen, we really need to test out the idea that these are delicious with wine.
Yep.
And so I feel like we need to take a big, you might not have heard that through the very full mouth of, I don't think she liked it.
Your choice. White or red would be good with this.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how you could go wrong.
You know what? They don't even need the butter. That's how delicious they are. The butter is yummy. But a bite of this with a sip of wine, ooh,
oh my gosh.
You know what? You could make these in mini muffin cups and have them as a little appetizer.
You could do anything with it.
Oh my gosh.
These are so good.
Wow.
Okay, so we made the ugliest steak in the world last time. Yeah. Can you imagine serving the ugliest steak in the world, though cooked to shocking perfection?
Right.
And these?
It would be a beautiful meal. The look of these would make up for the look of the steak.
Yeah, it would.
Wow.
Oh, y'all. I mean, we've just prepared a meal for you.
It's heaven. Open up a can of green beans and you are all there.
Okay, so I'm going to take just a little chunk of this one with no butter.
Yeah, give it a try and tell us what you think.
Really, I'm just looking for an excuse to eat some more because these are so delicious.
Wow.
You know, without the butter, you actually get more of the Parmesan cheese.
Yes.
I dare say it's tastier.
I really do think it's tastier without the butter.
Wow.
Yep.
I think that this is probably my favorite Mary's Memo. It is fancy.
Yep.
I mean, if you just told people, oh yeah, I whipped up a choux pastry.
Yeah.
I mean, your friends and family are going to be like, I'm sorry,
What?
Yeah. I mean,
you put a choux in a pastry? What?
And it tastes so good.
Yeah. And then bring out the wine. People are going to love you.
Bring out the wine and then the pastry.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's no going wrong with these.
Nope. Absolutely not. Well, that is it for this episode.
I'm so sorry that it is.
Me
too.
Awesome. It was awesome. And thank you for joining us yet again. You know, I can hardly believe it, but next episode will be our last one for this season.
What?
I know. Wow. It's crazy. After that, we will be taking our annual summer hiatus to plan more crazy episodes for you all. So be sure to mark your calendars for May 20th because you won't want to miss out on one alluring, tasty dish. Ooh la la.
Thanks for listening to Mom's Wooden Spoon. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe. If you want a copy of this recipe or to check out our blog, click on the link to our website in the podcast description. If you'd rather, you could get to our website through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Pick your poison.
Don't say poison. We're making food.
Just a skosh more.
Here we
Keep
go.
Going. Keep going. Just a skosh.
There you go. Clinking.